This is Columbus Concerns, a public affairs presentation of North American Broadcasting. Here's your host, Mark Neuse.
Good morning and welcome to Columbus Concerns. I'm Mark Neuse. Thanks so much for joining us again this morning. With us is Tom Nealon. He's with the American Legion, Post 797. That's in Gahanna. And they have an event coming up called Walk in Our Boots. It's a 5K run and walk benefiting local homeless veterans. And Tom's been kind enough to join us here on the program today. And Tom, thanks so much for being here with us today.
Good morning. Thank you so much. It's a pleasure.
For those who don't know, tell us about Walk in Our Boots. What is it, where is it, and how do you get involved?
Well, Walk in Our Boots is an event that we hold. This will be our third annual event that we've held, and it's in Gahanna. It starts at the Gahanna Veterans Memorial Park, which is at Creekside, across the creek from Mill and Granville Street at the Gahanna Veterans Memorial Park with the Eternal Flame and some other amenities that have been built over the years there. And we just thought it appropriate to start there, and we used the Gahanna Trail system for the 5K.
Tell me how this all got started.
It's about 5 years ago, our post, we do not have our own building, so we basically call our home the building that the VFW Post 4719 has. We basically meet there, and we really didn't have a purpose for a long time. I mean, of course, we did the typical things like take gifts to the Chillicothe Veterans Hospital and different things like that, but we wanted something a little more meaningful. And we started talking to some of our members and found out that one of the members and his wife had been working with a facility that we'll talk about, that the benefits from this walk, and they held like bingo on monthly events, monthly weekends and so forth. And there were some other things that they were doing, and we thought, well, how do we get involved with them? Because this facility that we help and everything that we make benefits is a facility right here in Columbus that has 100 units that currently has 100 men and women veterans that were homeless, that are transitioning from homelessness in Columbus. Mm-hmm. And we said, we really need to get involved in that. And one of our other members, our first vice commander, Crystal Cockrell, who, by the way, is a Purple Heart recipient and is also a Gahanna resident, her and I started talking, and her family recommended to her, why don't you do a 5K? And I had never, ever even thought of that, nor had I ever participated in one, because with bad knees, I'm not going to be doing any running on a 5K track. But anyway, we started talking about this, and we said, you know what, let's give it a shot. So we started 2 years ago. This will be our third annual event, but it started 2 years ago, and it has progressed incrementally as far as getting people to participate and getting the numbers up. But we built a relationship with the facility, and actually, I don't know if I can say the name of the company that owns the facility. It's a pretty big company. It's National Church Residences. Mm-hmm. They have a number of retirement centers around the Columbus area, and I believe they're nationwide. But they have this facility is called the Commons at Livingston, and that's where these 100 veterans live. There's other facilities that they have that they also have other veterans that were homeless, but this one is exclusively for the veterans. And once we started working with them and holding this event, it was nonstop.
Before we go any further, let's talk a little bit about how people can get involved. It's called the Walk in Our Boots 5K Run and Walk, benefiting local homeless veterans. It's on Saturday, May 3rd at Gahanna Veterans Memorial Park. How do you register and get people involved?
The best thing is to go to GahannaVets.org. And right on the front page, it's got all the instructions on you click here, and it takes you right to where you can register.
That's easy to remember, GahannaVets.org.
Exactly.
Okay, and we'll give you that website address several times during the program, so if you want to grab a pen and write that down if you want to get involved. Our guest on the program today from the American Legion Post 797 is Tom Nealon. He's the finance officer for that post of the American Legion. People probably think to themselves, I know I do, it's like, how in the world do our veterans, these people that did so much, and there are benefits and things available for them, even though there's never enough, how do they become homeless? How does this happen?
There are a lot of different scenarios with these veterans. Some may have gone through PTSD through conflicts that they participated in, whether it was Vietnam, because we basically represent everybody from World War I to current, and all the terrorist activities that people have been deployed for. But these veterans, men and women, have issues like PTSD. They've gotten into drug abuse. I mean, there's just a lot of life-changing events that occur to everybody, not just veterans.
Yeah.
And they seem to be impacted more and more into a homeless environment because of things that occur. And it doesn't seem to be the right, it shouldn't be right. We need to help all of them that we can because they gave so much.
And the money raised for this can be life-changing for people.
Absolutely. And when these folks are identified through the system that they have to work through, National Church residents and the Commons at Livingston then process them to find them a facility, find them a home or a apartment in one of these complexes that they own, especially the one at the Commons. And then they go through the process that National Church has. And I'm not familiar with that, but basically the veterans that are homeless here in Columbus, the numbers are staggering. I mean, there's many, many, many more than what the 100 are that are down there now. And matter of fact, to give you an example, the National Church actually has a new building being built on the same property that is going to increase the facility to 200 units from 100. So they're actually adding another 100 units to this facility. So the need is great.
That sure sounds like it. So again, it is the Walk in Our Boots 5K Walk and Run, benefiting local homeless veterans. GahannaVets.org is the website address if you'd like to get involved. And I know before we talk more about the homeless vets, these sorts of walks and runs are a lot of fun because not only do people participate, but sometimes they get a group, they get their family members together, or they get their workmates together, and they all have funny T-shirts or hats or something like that. It's a lot of fun.
Absolutely. Matter of fact, since you brought that up, basically we have 3 different categories where we award a trophy, right? And a trophy is something that isn't, some 6-foot tall trophy. It's something that they can put on their shelf if it's from the teams that we have identified, because we've got a community team, we have a business team, and we also have first responder teams. And every one of those seem to really pull representation well every year, and it gives them bragging rights. The ones that come with the biggest team, that's how they win. It's not timing on the track or anything like that, because most may not be able to walk or run the whole 5K. This is more about just coming out and supporting these veterans, and the trophy just kind of adds a little bit of extra to it.
And I'm glad you mentioned it, because sometimes people hear and they'll say, I'd like to do that, but I don't think I can run, 5K or anything like that. But it's also a walk. I mean, you come out and just do what you can.
Yeah, and you don't have to walk the whole 5K. It's on the beautiful Gahanna Big Walnut Trail system.
It is beautiful,
and it's all internal, so there's no roads that have to be crossed. We don't have to have any police protection or anything like that for crossing guards or any of that stuff, because it's all internal, and it takes you through south beyond Creekside down along Big Walnut Creek, and it's just a beautiful, beautiful setting. And like I said, you can walk 0.1K if you like. We don't care. We love to have you, and come on out and enjoy the fun.
Our guest on the program today is Tom Nealon, and he is from the American Legion Post 797 in Gahanna. Now, you said this is the 3rd annual Walk in Our Boots. I'm sure you've had some fun and powerful moments over the last 3 years.
Yes, and I think the thing that we always like to do is talk to all the people that come out, because many of them are veterans, and there's a lot of people that share stories, but we don't record them. We don't, we want to be careful of what we share and how we share and things like that. But there have been some pretty powerful, interactions with some of the people that come to participate. And many have lived through some of that same situation with PTSD and some of the other things that, like being wounded in action and things like that. So, we want to be very cautious on how we interact with people and share. But I think the most impactful was last year. We actually had at our second annual, after learning and cutting our teeth on the first, we decided we were going to do a little bit more and actually start with a prayer and then also the Pledge of Allegiance. And it was unbelievable the amount of people that were there that participated without even blinking an eye. I mean, it was almost like a goosebump moment, you know. So we had quite a few people last year that came to, I don't know, just fraternize with everybody that was there and talk about their team with some of the other teams and so forth. So it's been just quite an experience.
It sounds like you and the members at the American Legion Post 797 have sort of made homeless vets your mission.
Yes, and that is our primary mission, along with one other event that we're going to be holding in October this year. We're bringing the Vietnam Wall to Gahanna.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, in October, first part of October. And those two events are really our keystone events that we just put everything heart and soul into to make sure that it goes right and so forth. The Homeless Vet Walk is reoccurring, where the Vietnam Wall that will be here in October, that's a one-time thing, right? So both require different levels of participation and effort to pull off. But the Homeless Vet Walk is our primary mission for giving back, in addition to some of the other things that they do around Columbus that the Legion sponsors and we participate in.
Registration for the Walk in Our Boots 5K run and walk to benefit homeless veterans on Saturday, May 3rd is at GahannaVets.org. Again, that's GahannaVets.org, and it's easy to register. Is there a registration deadline?
Yes. The 17th is the deadline for that. And actually, let me back up. No. The registration deadline is if you want to get a free T-shirt, we have the first 200 people that register get a free T-shirt. If 200 people register, then there's no more T-shirts. You can actually register day of if you have a team or something. You want to come in and say, hey, we want to register 10, 12 people. We'll do it right there on site. And we've got people set up ready to go for that. So.
Yeah, there might be some fair weather people like me. They're waiting to see the sunshine before they come out, but they are welcome to come out and register and participate.
Absolutely. Yeah, we look forward to it.
Do you need, when you talk about your mission of helping homeless veterans, is there anything that the community can do to support that besides coming to the walk and run?
Yes, actually, at that same website, if they click on the front page where it talks about Homes for Vets, we have a place where if you can't participate, we also have a place where you can donate. If you click on one, it takes you to where you can sign up to run, register to run. But then we have another area on that same page that has a place where if you're not going to be able to make it and you want to donate to this effort, just click on that and it takes you to where you can actually make a donation to our effort to help these homeless vets.
No event like this works without volunteers and without sponsors and things like that. Tell us a little bit about some of the people who help make this thing happen.
We have people from kids in school, whether it's like middle school or high school, through college. We have people that are just community members that want to help. We have people that are veterans that have heard about it and want to help. We have businesses that want to get involved, and they send teams to volunteer. And we, this year, will probably have the biggest amount of volunteers that we've seen for some time. And we're probably going to be about 60 or so people that'll be there to volunteer. And a lot of them are there just to welcome and greet and talk to the people that are participants, make them feel real welcome and, share some of the stories about why this is important to get behind.
Sounds like the community sort of embraced this event, too.
Absolutely. Yeah. And generally the mayor will come out and present us with a proclamation for, helping the veterans and so forth. And it's a pretty big deal. We really appreciate all the community support that we get.
That's one thing about the Columbus area, Central Ohio. You got these great communities, and people like to get involved in things like that.
You bet.
Yeah. Tom Nealon is here from the American Legion Post 797, and he's talking about their Walk in Our Boots 5K run and walk benefiting homeless veterans on Saturday, May 3rd at Gahanna Veterans Memorial Park. And you should go ahead and get registered, especially if you want that free T-shirt. It's GahannaVets.org is the place to go for that. And the mission is, it's needed and it's a good one. Can you talk a little bit about the day of the event? People will be coming out for the walk and the run like that. Does it all start at one time, or do you start at different times, or just shotgun start? Here we go.
Well, basically, we are advertising it from 9 till noon, and 9 till 10 is what we've carved out so that we can actually take late registrations, give people information, hand out anything that we've got to hand out that's free stuff, towels or water or things like that to the people that are participating. And then at 10 o'clock, that is when the walk/run actually begins. It's not a timed event. It's not a win-lose event. It's just we're going to start at 10, and at noon, plan to be back here, and then it'll be another one in the books.
Do you have any goals this year for how many people you'd like to get out?
We would like to see all of our T-shirts given away, so at least 200 people. Mm-hmm. If we get more, boy, we'd love it.
That's terrific. Tom, talk a little bit about the American Legion Post 797 and the American Legion in general. I know, after World War II, we went through a period where people were joiners. They joined groups. They joined veterans groups and that kind of thing. And what I've always heard is the younger people, especially, the kids today and people coming back from Iraq and the war against terror, they're a little less likely to join. And sometimes organizations have a tough time reaching the younger people. Do you find that to be the truth, or are you having younger people join the Legion?
That is absolutely true, and that's true in every one of the fraternal or military organizations that I'm affiliated with. Mm-hmm. We're trying to overcome that, and we're doing things a little differently. We meet monthly, but that's the thing. I've got kids that are in that millennial or a little older age group. They just hate meetings. They don't want to be there. The old meetings where you used to eat and all that stuff. They don't want any part of that. Tell me what you want me to do, and I'll be glad to do it. Well, that's what we're trying to really get focused on, and to bring more of that younger generation in. Because I'll be honest with you, I'm in from the Vietnam era. And it's hard to believe that our generation is the oldest anymore, because we've lost almost all of our World War II vets.
Yeah.
All World War I folks are gone. I mean, There just aren't, unless there's somebody hanging around that's about 120 years old. I don't think we're going to see any. But, the Vietnam era, Korea, we've got a few Korean vets, but the war on terror and Iraq, Afghanistan, and some of the different other incidentals that occurred from a wartime perspective, we're just not getting the numbers that we used to get. And I think that we need to change how we approach these veterans to join, and give them a little bit more to connect with, like this, like the Walk in Our Boots event. Our post, I have been a member for over 20 years. My father was a World War II vet. He was the commander of the VFW where we meet. They had a whole different strategy on how they got members. And honestly, most of the members from World War II, Korea, and Vietnam, not so much Vietnam, but World War II and Korea, they felt compelled to be part of this.
Sure.
Not anymore. It's I hate to say it's competitive to get members, but it's competitive to get members, because there's so many things that people can do nowadays that it's just hard to really recruit people. And the most important thing, and that I really feel like we need to work on, is the why.
Okay.
We just need to get better at the why. Why is it important to join? Not where or when or how. It's what is the purpose behind our organization? And many organizations have a number of pillars, so to speak, that they fall under or try to accomplish. But this is really targeted at a specific activity that is so meaningful and has a year-long payback, where some of these others giving gifts at Christmas time and holidays and that, it's all important.
Right.
But this is life-changing, and I think the younger generation's looking for things like that, and I really do want to get that word out for sure.
That's terrific. And it benefits them, too, to get together with people with similar experiences. They can talk about it.
Exactly.
Well, we're talking about the Walk in Our Boots 5K run and walk benefiting local homeless vets on Saturday, May 3rd at Gahanna Veterans Memorial Park. Once again, Tom, in the last few seconds here, tell us a little bit about how people can get involved, where they go on the web, and what the registration fee is and things like that.
Yeah, it's pretty simple. GahannaVets.org. You go there to register, and right on the front page, there's a link that'll take you to a run sign-up link to register your team, yourself as an individual, or your family, however many people you want to bring, and you can do that. Children under 12 are free. They just come and they participate. We don't charge kids for anything. To enter, the general admission is $25, and the first 200 people get a T-shirt. We're going to have some goodies that we'll hand out. It's the typical stuff, right?
Sure.
Maybe some towels and marketing stuff that people will give you, pens and paper and that kind of thing. But it's really about supporting the vets. So we don't look too much into like buying gift bags and things like that, because if we do that, that reduces what we the impact we can have for the people that we're trying to help. So the amount for adults is $25 a piece, and the GahannaVets.org is the place to register. It's really pretty simple. We try to make it as easy as possible for people to get involved.
Well, it's a third annual, and it sounds like your plans are to just grow it every year.
Absolutely, and we've actually been able to increase participation and the amount of revenue that we've collected to help these veterans beyond just emergency food pantry things. We're actually doing other things now, like clothes and home goods, dishes. If you think about somebody coming off the street that's homeless, they have nothing. Zero. And all the things that we have in our homes, like plates and silverware and cleaning supplies and paper towels and toilet paper and all that, they have none of that. So, our mission is when new residents come in, we want to help with like getting them started with like a gift box. A gift box is kind of the wrong word, but a starter box, that has things. And we contribute to that and help buy the different things that they need just to get started, to work on getting back into society. So it's really tough to get this close to something like that, to see, people that you may have served with in the military, and just having that occur to somebody is just, it's tough.
Well, if you feel like you'd like to help out homeless veterans, here's a concrete way you can do it, getting them the essentials of life that they need to get started again with a place to stay. GahannaVets.org is the place to go, and it's the Walk in Our Boots 5K run and walk benefiting local homeless veterans, and it's going to be on the very sunny and beautiful May 3rd. At least we hope so. That's a Saturday at Gahanna Veterans Memorial Park. Our guest on the program today has been Tom Nealon with the American Legion Post 797. Tom, thanks so much for being here and for all that you do.
Thank you so much for having me.
Also in Columbus Concerns this morning, there's another push to ban cell phones in public schools. Last year, the state said that all school districts had to adopt a policy when it comes to banning cell phones in the classroom, but now there's a bill that would make it state law, and Governor DeWine spoke in favor of that measure this week in Columbus.
We need to be sure that our classrooms, frankly, are now cell phone free. Senator Timken took the language that was actually passed or that we talked about in the State of the State and created a standalone bill, Senate Bill 158. That bill will ban student cell phone use during school hours. I want to thank her for taking that action. It is really time for us to do this. We all know that screen time is very, very addictive. Cell phone hazards, though, go even beyond that. Just having a phone nearby means students are receiving constant notifications all day long. Those notifications make it nearly impossible for students to focus and to learn. Studies consistently show that access to cell phones during school hours negatively impacts student learning and academic performance. Furthermore, these phones can be incredibly harmful to students' mental and emotional health. They expose our kids to things like cyberbullying, sextortion, which means that students are blackmailed with private sensitive images, videos, or information. Both of these factors increase the risk of suicide among our children. Last year, as I said, I asked the legislature to require every school district in the state to come up with a plan to minimize the use of cell phones in schools. As a result of that, our schools have really started to look at this. Many of them have already come up with plans. I think the results have been very good. We've heard repeatedly from teachers, principals, school board members, superintendents, and parents who say that when cell phones are banned during the school day, schools transform before their very eyes. They said that their kids are focused in the classroom. The lunchroom is noisy once again. Kids are actually talking to each other. The lunchroom is just different, they've told us. The kids are actually talking instead of burying their heads in their phones. These superintendents and principals and teachers tell us student engagement and attendance have actually improved. Grades are better. Socialization is improving and becoming more positive. The number of students being disciplined is down. All the numbers have improved. Even communication between students and teachers has improved because they have more opportunities just to interact with each other. As a country and as a state, we've learned much in this past year. Again, a year ago, we asked for the studies or for the plans to the schools to study this, schools to come up with a plan and to implement that plan. But as we've looked at this and what has happened, and have seen the great results from the schools that have actually banned the cell phones, I think the jury is really returned on this issue. I think the evidence clearly shows from what we've seen across the state that every school in the state needs to ban the phones. It's time for us to finish the job. It's time to ban cell phones in every Ohio school.
And that's Governor DeWine speaking out in favor of a bill to ban cell phones in all public schools and classrooms in the state of Ohio. I'm Mark News. Thanks so much for listening. Please join us again next week for another edition of Columbus Concerns.
Thanks for listening to Columbus Concerns, a public affairs presentation of North American Broadcasting. You can send questions or comments about today's show to Columbus Concerns in care of this station, 1458 Dublin Road, Columbus 43215. Or email us at columbusconcerns@napcomedia.com.
I'm Tiffany Haddish.
And I'm Marlon Wayans. African Americans are 3 times more likely to be diagnosed with pancreatic cancer than any other racial or ethnic group.
When you or someone you love is facing a pancreatic cancer diagnosis, access to cutting-edge treatment can help make long-term survival possible and improve future patient outcomes.
That's why Stand Up to Cancer and the Lust Garden Foundation have teamed up to bring over 30 pancreatic cancer clinical trials to those who need them.
Learning all you can about pancreatic cancer, including treatment options and what clinical trials are available, can give you or a loved one even more than hope. It can help make long-term survival possible.
For more information about the latest pancreatic cancer research and clinical trials near you, visit pancreaticcancercollective.org.